Hey guys, so for today's random talk video, I'm going to be talking about Celebrity Big Brother UK, and this season it is UK versus USA, and oh my god guys, this season is insane, and I don't know if that's because of the theme of this year's Big Brother, or if it's because Farrah Abraham is in the house, but it is just ridiculous. Like, the amount of drama that's coming out this season is insane, but I'm kind of in love with it. And so yeah, I just want to make a video talking about some of the things that have recently happened in the house. This is now our second week, I believe, in the house, day 13, maybe verging on the third week of the house. Anyway, yeah, in that time a lot of things have happened, and I've made my little list of things that I wanted to talk about, and hopefully I will be able to talk about all of the housemates, some more than others, obviously, because some get more screen time than others. So the first two people that I want to talk about are Austin and James. Those two seem to have created a bromance on the show. They are literally two of my favorite people to watch, because whenever they're together they just kind of have guy talk, and it's just kind of really like interesting and kind of fun to watch. Like, I just really love James and Austin together. They're so much fun, and they even share a bed together and stuff in the house. I just think, like, I really just enjoy their friendship, and I think that that is one of the best things about this season of Big Brother. You know, just watching them together and everything, like, I just really like it. And plus, it is probably the smoothest UK and USA friendship that there is in the house, because Austin is Team USA and James is Team UK, even though I feel like Austin is definitely leaning more towards the UK side than the US. I definitely do think that Austin sometimes feels ashamed to be part of Team USA, although I'm pretty sure there are a lot of USA housemates who have been ashamed to be Team USA at least one point or another in the house. But yeah. Also, side note, can we talk about when Austin shaved his head for Gail? I was literally so emotional over that, and I can tell that it was a very, emotional moment for Gail and also Austin. He shaved his head to support Gail and her alopecia, and it was just really sweet of him to do. And then I noticed that they were talking about it whenever Daniel got evicted, I think, and they said that Austin was doing it as a strategy in the house to make him favorable to win, and I can kind of see where he's coming for that. Like, Austin just did it for attention, but honestly, I do like to believe that he did it for Gail and not just for his own intentions. Like, I really want to believe that he did it for the right reasons and not for the TV, if you know what I mean. And yeah, speaking of Gail, she's another person I want to talk about. Okay, so, you know, Gail is one of those people that doesn't really enjoy the conflict in the house, and so when she was put up for eviction, I kind of thought maybe people would want her to leave after, you know, she got nominated, but that's not the case, and I'm kind of glad that Gail got to stay, because we are now seeing a new side of Gail. Like, I like to call her Badass Gail. She's in it to win it, and I'm so glad and I'm so happy that she's coming to play the game, because, you know, so far all we know about Gail is that she really likes to clean and she sort of stays out of all the drama, but, you know, I really want her to stand up for herself and not be so, I guess, afraid of the conflict. Like, I don't know, I really like the way that she was standing up to Chloe Jasmine and her, like, being oversensitive about everything, because, you know, I really think that Chloe Jasmine just needs to stop being oversensitive altogether. But yeah, I'm really happy for Gail coming out of her shell and becoming this badass, and I really do hope she makes it, like, as far as the end, because I think if she speaks up more, it'll be really good for her. So yeah, hashtag vote for Gail to win. Yeah, okay. Next thing I want to talk about is Jenna and Farrah's friendship. They're literally, like, attached at the hip, because if James and Austin are having a bromance, Jenna and Farrah have their own little friendship going on, and I kind of love their friendship, and I kind of like that Farrah has someone that she's able to have a real conversation with, because it feels like no one else in the house really likes Farrah, because obviously Farrah is the one that causes all the arguments in the house, and you know, people just don't get along with her, and half the time whenever she starts attacking someone and fighting with them, I don't even know what she's talking about. And I know that they're all like trying to see the best in her, like all the British housemates are like, I'm sure that underneath all that you're like a really nice person, but you know, at some point you just kind of have to give up and learn like, okay, I need to stay away from Farrah Abraham because she's a little bit crazy. But yeah, I do think it's nice that Farrah does have someone like Jenna to talk to in the house, and I really like how zen Jenna is about everything. Like, I'm pretty sure that Jenna's gonna go all the way to the end. Like, I feel like she's playing it very smart, and I know that if Jenna was to go and Farrah was to stay, that there would be a lot of drama, and it would be way worse than it is now, because Jenna kind of tries to restrain Farrah. Like, you know, I just know that if Jenna was to leave and Farrah was to stay, then it would be the end of the world. So, you know, as long as Farrah's in the house, you gotta keep Jenna. And, you know, that being said, I do think that Jenna would also do really well on her own. I feel like Jenna's playing this very smart. And I also do feel like Jenna might be taking it a tad bit too serious every time she goes to Austin and is like, this is a game, you're on Team USA, you need to stick with us, that's not cool if you go off on Team UK. Like, I really feel like Jenna might take it too seriously at times, but I definitely feel like she's in it to win it, and that she definitely will go all the way. So, I really like Jenna. I think she's really cool. As for Farrah, I'm okay with her. Like, I don't have any serious problems with her. I know that a lot of people hate her. I know every time there's an eviction show, everyone starts yelling, get Farrah out. But I don't think that's going to happen. I feel like there are enough of us Farrah supporters that are going to keep her in the house for the foreseeable future. I don't know if Farrah will make it to the end. I feel like she'll either leave or like try to escape, or Big Brother will just have to kick her out at some point because they can't stand her anymore. Like, Big Brother do not know how to handle Farrah Abraham, and it is very obvious that they don't. I think they're scared of her. So it's kind of hard to see how far Farrah will go in the house, but you know, for me, I think it's kind of entertaining, and I don't mind that she's there. Okay, moving on to Janice Dickinson. Okay, she's changed a lot since she's been in the house. Like, she went from attacking Austin in the first day to a complete 180. Like, she's completely changed, and she's not starting drama in the house anymore. She's being a decent person. And, you know, at the start I really hated Janice when she went into the house because she was just as confrontational as Farrah. But, you know, Janice has really changed recently. And I think it's because she's become, like, best friends with Chloe Jasmine, which I never saw coming. Like, Stevie and Chloe Jasmine love Janice, and I just don't understand where that's coming from. But they seem to have a good friendship, and, you know, if that's helping Janice stay grounded and stay quiet, I'm all for it. I do see that there is a nicer side to Janice, and that she does try to help as much as she can, and so, you know, I don't know how to feel about her. I feel okay about her. I don't hate her, but at the same time I don't know if I full on love her. I just think she's an okay person now, but at the same time I do think she won't hesitate to turn back to that nasty person she was at the beginning whenever she entered the house, because I definitely think that side of her is very real. Okay, another person I want to mention briefly is Tila Tequila. So basically, Tila was only in the house for 2 days before Big Brother discovered some pro-Hitler things that she had posted online a few years ago, and then kicked her out of the house. I don't really have a lot to say about that. I just think that Big Brother should have looked her up before they let her into the house, because I really felt like she would be really fun to watch in the house. I mean, from what we saw of her, I definitely thought that she was going to be trouble for James, because she was flirting a lot with him, and I know that would have been really awkward but fun to watch, because James was definitely just very uncomfortable with her coming on to him. And yeah, I just thought that Tila would be really fun to watch in the house, so I was really sad to see her go, but, you know, at the same time I definitely thought Big Brother should have known that about her before they let her in the house. So if anyone's to blame at this point, I would say it was Big Brother, because they were the ones that let her in the house in the first place. So yeah. Okay. Next people I want to talk about are Daniel and Chris. I know they got evicted, but I wanted to talk about them briefly. First of all, didn't understand why Daniel left the house first compared to Chris, because both of them are people that aren't really shown a lot in the house. And I guess that's because they're not in with the fighting, but like Daniel and Chris just seem like the really awkward 40-year-olds in the house that didn't really do anything. Like, 'cause they're similar ages, and like Daniel's on Team USA and Chris was on Team UK, so they were kind of opposite sides, but they were both like the same character, if you know what I mean. It's like if both teams had parallels, like Daniel and Chris would be like the same person, except on the other teams. I don't know if what I'm saying is even making sense, but like they both were similar characters to me in the house. And I know that a lot of people nominated Daniel because they always said he was like really loud and that his opinion was the only one that mattered, but we never saw that because he was never on the TV, because he wasn't in the middle of all the big fights, so he wasn't interesting. And then towards the end, whenever Chris was leaving, they started to show him a bit more, because Chris was like finally being like, I don't give a shit, I'm leaving, I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want now. And he finally did. He got a voice in the very last episode before he got kicked off, and it was kind of interesting to see, but you kind of knew like he was so ready to get out of there, and so I guess it was kind of a good thing that they both left, because no one's really missing them at this point, except maybe Sherry. I feel like Sherry misses Chris, because you know, I feel like Sherry's kind of one of those, again, kind of invisible people in the house that you don't really see a lot, and so yeah, I don't know how that'll go. In fact, I feel like Sherry might actually make it to the end, because she's one of those people that people don't really think about, because, you know, for us, the viewers, we don't see her because she's like not in the middle of all the fights and everything. She's kind of just an average housemate who doesn't really do a lot, so we don't really see a lot of her. So I feel like if that's the case, then maybe the housemates will forget about her until they're at like the final 5 and they realize, oh my god, Sherry's still here, that kind of thing. So I do feel like Sherry actually has the potential to go really far, just by not really being noticeable. Yeah, okay. Moving on to Stevie and Chloe Jasmine. They are the only couple to be in the house, and they are counted as one housemate. And at first, I didn't really think that was fair, because, you know, Team USA already started out with one less person because Tila Tequila got kicked off, and then Team UK just had like an extra person, so I wasn't really okay with that. I felt like it should be more even though it seems like there are more Americans in that house than UK housemates. But yeah, so Stevie and Chloe Jasmine, I had an issue with from the start because of that. Also have an issue with their PDA, although I feel like they have finally gotten the message from the other housemates that that is uncomfortable, and have stopped doing it as much. So I applaud them for that. Also, what I've noticed is that a lot of housemates prefer Stevie over Chloe Jasmine, and I feel like it's because Stevie's pretty chill about everything, and he's like totally cool with what people say about him and his relationship with Chloe Jasmine. Meanwhile, Chloe Jasmine takes everything super personally and happens to cry a lot about everything. Like, literally, a few days into being into the house, and she was already crying about how she couldn't be intimate with Stevie, and I was like, really? You guys have been in here for what, like 4 days? How are you guys gonna cope whenever you're in there for like 2 weeks? You know what I mean? So, you know, they kind of annoyed me a lot with their PDA, but since they stopped that, they've kind of been okay. Like, seeing Chloe Jasmine and Stevie apart is probably better than seeing them together. And they have begun to grow on me. Like, even Chloe Jasmine, even though she's like really oversensitive and cries at everything, like, she is really nice, and I really like her style. I love that she keeps wearing that tiara that she got from the task from the first week, and you know, I really like her accent. I think that it's amazing, and you know, I think they're nice people, and I definitely think, you know, well, I don't know if they'll go far in the house, but I definitely think that they bring something to the house. like out of all the other UK housemates that don't really bring a lot to the house, they definitely bring something. And they are interesting to watch when they're not sucking face. So I do kind of like them, even though at the same time I wouldn't miss them that much if they left. And I do agree with a lot of the housemates that Stevie would be the more tolerable one out of the both of them, but yeah. I guess I'm like feeling okay-ish about them. Okay, so the next person to talk about is Fat Man Scoop, or just Scoop. He is very loud. I thought he was louder than Daniel, so I was thinking that, you know, if people were going to nominate a housemate for being loud, it would be Scoop. Also, I thought he was okay at the beginning because he was like really chill about everything and he was giving James girl advice and things. Like, he was very chill, but then he became president and it sort of all fell apart for him. I feel like Scoop has good opinions and he has good reasons for doing things, but because he's so loud, people don't appreciate him or like really understand. Like, the UK housemates do not feel much for Scoop anymore, ever since that whole thing whenever he was president and he was trying to sort out about the food shortage. Like, there was just a whole big mess of things about that, and Scoop was just yelling a lot and being very loud, and I guess UK housemates really don't like that because, you know, all the Americans tend to be really loud and the UK housemates are not, and so there's definitely a culture divide there. But yeah, I just feel like Scoop is just really loud, and I do agree with some of his opinions about things. I do understand why he nominates people when he does, and it's just, I guess his problem is that he's just loud, and that's it. I don't really have anything else to say about Skip. He's not really one of those people that gets shown a lot. Okay. Moving on to, I guess, the last two housemates that I have to talk about, and they are Bobby Davro and Natasha Hamilton. Going all second name on them there, but okay, first of all, Bobby. I didn't have a lot to say about him when he first entered the house, but ever since he started something with Farrah, we've been seeing a lot more of him, and I totally feel bad for Bobby sometimes. I totally understand where he's coming from when he says all those things about Farrah, but the thing is that you can't say those things to Farrah because Farrah's gonna blow up at you. So I definitely feel like Bobby's efforts are kind of wasted, because I definitely do understand what Bobby says about Farrah, and I know that he's trying to be so nice about it and he doesn't want to hurt her feelings, but I felt like whenever he was making that face-to-face nomination, it was just not going well, especially because once he said he was done talking about Farrah and then he moved on to talk about Gail, he still ended up talking about Farrah, so I feel like that kind of backfired for him, and that's kind of why Farrah blew up at him. And so I just feel kind of bad for Bobby, that he's being attacked by Farrah, even though he only had good intentions, but I feel like that's what you say about everyone who gets in a fight with Farrah, like, they only had good intentions, but it only takes one wrong thing to be said and there's a blow up. And yeah, okay, Natasha. Don't have a lot to say about Natasha. At first, I definitely thought, oh my god, she's coming for Farrah. Like, from the very first episode, she called out Farrah, and that just started the whole thing. And so I kind of thought Natasha was going to be another one who was going to cause a lot of conflict in the house, but, you know, after that first night with Farrah, she sort of went into the background like all the other UK housemates. She sort of was just away, and she became friends with Gail and sort of just stayed out of all the drama until the food thing came up, and then Jenna started on Natasha, and then Natasha got into it with Farrah, and she was just yelling, and there was more yelling, and when is there not yelling in this house from anyone? So yeah, I don't really know how to feel about Natasha. She's very confusing. I do understand that she will stand up for herself just like Farrah will, so it's like if she's being provoked, she will have to say something, and I understand. I feel like Natasha is somewhat Jenna and Farrah combined in a really weird way. Like, Natasha's mainly just very quiet, but if she has to, she will go, and so I feel like she would make it far in the house, but, you know, at the same time, I don't know, she's just, I don't really know. I guess I don't really have a lot of opinions on the UK housemates compared to the American housemates, because we see the USA housemates way more on TV than we do the UK housemates. And it's all to do with who's more entertaining to watch at the time, and it's always going to be the USA housemates. And so yeah, that would be what I think of all the UK and US housemates. The only other thing that I really wanted to talk about in this video is the fake eviction that's coming up. It's kind of confusing, but I think what Big Brother is doing is evicting these two housemates. Two housemates will go in a secret room, and then the rest of the housemates will know that it's a fake eviction, and they know they'll be in the secret room, but the evicted housemates don't know that the other housemates know about that. I don't even think that even made sense, but it made sense to me. Basically, it's a they don't know, we know, they know sort of situation. Kind of brings me back to that Friends episode when everyone finds out about Monica and Chandler. But yeah, that's kind of interesting. I think that, well, because it's actually, I thought it was going to be Big Brother was going to choose who was going to be evicted for the fake eviction, but it's actually the UK public, and I'm not really sure who they want to fake evict. I definitely feel like a lot of people might evict Farrah just to see how she would react to being evicted, yeah, like, I don't really know who they would vote for. The UK public, to me, is very confusing. Even though I am part of the UK public, I don't really know the general consensus on how they vote for people in the Big Brother house, because personally, I don't vote for Big Brother. Even though I watch it and I'm invested in this season, I'm not voting. But I know a lot of people do vote, and so it's like, how are they voting? So it'll be interesting to see who actually does get fake evicted, and then what'll happen after that, because they haven't really explained what else is going to go on after the people are put in the little room and then the housemates find out that it was a fake eviction. I think that is everything that I wanted to say in this video. It's kind of a long video, but that's because there are a lot of housemates and there are a lot of feelings about those housemates. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. And if you guys want to know more of my thoughts on Celebrity Big Brother, I have made some blog posts about it, and I'll leave those in the description below if you want to check them out. And yeah, let me know in the comments below who you want to win this year's Celebrity Big Brother UK. For me personally, I kind of want Jenna to win. I definitely feel like she's one of the strongest people in it, and I can see her going all the way. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys. I think the best thing is, like, the amount of freedom and creativity that we have to express here. Like, you have the freedom to create, like, whatever kind of content that you want, and to have, like, people out there in the world see it. I think that is so cool that you can post something on the internet and, like, hundreds and thousands of people will see it.